Okay, then this is Syria related, but it also has to do with Yemen. Over the weekend, there was this airstrike on a funeral by the Saudi-led coalition, and I'm just wondering, does the administration see any difference between this kind of thing and what you accuse the Russians and the Syrians and the Iranians of doing in Syria, particularly Aleppo?
Well, yeah, I think there are.
Other than
Some
support the
differences.
Saudi coalition and don't support the Syrians and Russians? What are the other differences?
Well, look, there's a couple things, Matt. The strike over the weekend is being investigated, and the Saudis publicly said that they were going to investigate this as for the potential of it being, in fact, wrongly implemented and wrongly executed. I haven't seen a single case in Syria where the regime or the Russian military, after bombing civilian targets deliberately and indiscriminately, said, "Yeah, we're going to look into that. We're not sure that that we did that right. We're going to take a look at it." Not once, not once. But the Saudis are, and they're willing to admit that this could have been a mistake, and that they're going to investigate that, and they've done that in the past. So it is different. I think it's also important to remember that in the Saudis' case, their cities, their citizens are under very real, darn near daily threat from missiles being launched on the Yemeni side of their border. Missiles that are provided by Iran to the Houthi rebels. So there is this the pressing requirement for self-defense to them right across the border that certainly has driven much of their military activity in Yemen in the past. Now, I do want to say, and you saw our statement over the weekend, we take this very seriously, and we have been nothing but candid and forthright with the Saudis about our concerns over civilian casualties and collateral damage, and our concerns about lack of precision in the conduct of some of these strikes. So I don't want to wave it off and say that the United States isn't taking this very, very seriously, what happened in Yemen. As you saw from the statement that the NSC issued, that we're going to review the aid and assistance that you pointed to in your question that go to Saudi Arabia, particularly, well, we always do in every case. We constantly review that aid and assistance, but in particular light of this strike over the weekend. So, yeah, there's some key differences.
So you don't think that, despite the fact that no investigation has been completed yet, you're sure that this was not deliberate?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh. Well, but you said that the Russian and Syrian attacks are deliberate.
They are.
Okay.
They are.
What
I'm saying is
maybe I'm wrong on this, but do you not regard the Russian call for an investigation into the attack on the aid convoy as a real thing?
Well, they can point to how real it is. I've also seen they flip-flopped, right? First they said they wanted an investigation, then they pulled it back. So it's not exactly been a clarion call for an investigation. And what we're seeing in Aleppo is nothing but a concerted effort over recent days to take that city by force, to subdue it by force. This isn't indiscriminate, haphazard, accidental bombing of infrastructure. It's very deliberate.
All right. I think this is probably my last one on this, but you pointed to the fact that the Saudis are doing this self-defense. Is that not this one
They were
specific thing, but
look.
the whole, in
So
its
they were
entirety.
they were invited in by the Yemeni government. The
Right.
Saudi-led coalition was invited in by the Yemeni government. Now I know what you're going to say. Well, Russians were invited by
No.
Syria, by
No.
Assad to do. I
No,
get
no,
this.
no.
I'm not trying to make too much of a historical analogy.
I
here,
wasn't gonna.
But they were invited in by the Yemeni government, and they are under real threat
Yeah.
on their side, on the Yemeni side of their
So
border.
that wasn't where I was going with this, but you said that they're under threat. The Saudis are under threat from missiles provided by Iran, and yet at the same time, you must understand that Yemeni civilians are increasingly at risk and being killed by weapons that the United States has furnished to the Saudis and their coalition partners in this. So you don't find that there's any kind of an issue with this? Because a lot of people
Of
do,
course we do.
including on the Hill. So just because these missiles were made in Iran, I mean, people on the ground in Yemen are looking at what's raining down on them from the sky, and it says made in USA on it. Is that not a problem?
Of course it's a problem, and that's why in our statement over the weekend, issued by the National Security Council, that we're going to undertake a review
So
of
how's
that
that-
aid and assistance. Of course it's a problem, and I'm not saying that. Look, it is a fact that they are under threat from the Yemen side of the border with missiles from Iran. That is just a fact. I'm not saying that
Well, it's also
justifies
the fact that civilians are being killed.
and I'm not saying that fact justifies civilian casualties. I'm simply trying to put your answer into some context here. But obviously, we're very concerned about what happened over the weekend. We wouldn't have issued that very strong statement
Okay.
if we didn't.
Do you
feel
know
that
if
way.
there's been